A corporate budget operates as the architectural blueprint of a firm's strategic intent, dictating the shape of its financial reality. Too many management teams rely entirely on static, volume-based incremental budgeting. This structure fails under complex operational realities, quietly embedding past inefficiencies into future plans. The required solution is treating capital planning as a highly customizable system. Management must apply specific budgeting methodologies to solve precise operational problems. We can divide this architecture into 4 distinct nodes: scope, allocation, justification, and horizon. The exact structural tool management selects alters how costs are perceived across the firm and how departmental leaders are incentivized to behave. The methodology a firm chooses writes the operational code that dictates how capital is deployed, hidden, or wasted. We start with scope, applying a framework known as a project budget. This methodology is triggered only when a specific initiative carries costs and potential profits significant enough that they require isolated tracking apart from the firm's standard operations. Developing a new airliner, for instance, pulls resources from across the entire corporate structure: design, engineering, production, marketing, and human resources. The critical constraint for this framework is reconciliation. While tracked in an isolated silo, every dollar allocated to the project must mathematically align with the firm's overarching master budget. By utilizing this framework, management prevents massive, one-off developmental costs from distorting the financial tracking of everyday operational margins. Moving to the second node, allocation, we encounter the severe challenge of indirect cost pools. Traditional budgeting relies on a fatal assumption. It accumulates all indirect costs into a single massive pool and allocates them based purely on a volume metric, like total units or machine hours. This table illustrates a traditional budget for a manufacturer producing 50,000 simple and 10,000 complex valves. Look closely at how the $954,000 in allocated indirect costs is split by volume. Under this method, the manufacturing cost for the complex valve is $58.20 per unit. Because the simple valve has a higher production volume, it absorbs the vast majority of the overhead. Allocating indirect costs this way mathematically subsidizes resource-heavy, complex products at the direct expense of simple, high-volume ones. Activity-based budgeting, or ABB, provides the necessary mathematical correction to this distortion. The first step requires shattering that single indirect cost pool into multiple specific activity pools, such as production setup, machining, and inspection. Step 2 demands identifying a direct cause-and-effect cost driver for each of those specific activities. This updated table shows activity-based budgeting. Look at the product design row. The complex valve requires 2,800 units of design driver versus the simple valve's 1,000. Consuming triple the resources results in a targeted $66,500 cost, driving the corrected final cost to $61.58. The total manufacturing cost is now $61.58. The product is over $3 more expensive to produce per unit than the traditional budget claimed. Activity-based budgeting forces a firm to confront its true cost reality. By mapping strict cause and effect relationships, it strips away the volume-based subsidies hiding unprofitable products. The third node is justification. Standard corporate practice relies heavily on incremental budgeting. This approach simply takes the previous year's budget and adjusts it upward by a set percentage. It automatically institutionalizes past bloat and inefficiency. Zero-based budgeting is the aggressive structural countermeasure to this exact problem. Under ZBB, the past is irrelevant. Every single manager must justify their department's entire budget request from a baseline of 0 every single cycle. This intense justification process must originate from the deepest, most granular units of the corporate entity before rolling up into the master plan. The trade-off is severe. While ZBB ensures maximum cost efficiency, it demands an immense sacrifice of managerial time and administrative effort. It acts as a necessary organizational purge, deliberately shifting the burden of proof from "why should we cut this expense" to "why should we fund this at all?" The final node is horizon. A static 12-month budget is a structural hazard. As the year progresses, the horizon shrinks, creating a strategic blind spot. A continuous or rolling budget maintains a perpetual forward view. This schedule demonstrates how a rolling budget mechanically replaces elapsed time. As fiscal year 1, quarter 1 ends, it is dropped entirely. To replace it, fiscal year 2, quarter 1 is immediately appended to the back end, maintaining a constant 4-quarter projection. The behavioral advantage is immediate. Managers are forced out of static annual check-ins and pushed into a state of continuous, active forecasting. A rolling horizon ensures the organization is never driving blind, permanently locking their strategic headlights 12 months into the future. We return to our architectural framework with all 4 nodes active. Each tool executes a highly specific function. Project budgets isolate developmental scope. ABB enforces cause and effect allocation. Zero-based budgeting demands granular justification. Continuous budgeting ensures a perpetual horizon. These frameworks function as the core operating system of a business. Selecting the right methodology is the most critical architectural decision a management team will ever make.